Okay, waiting for more people, waiting for to see if they will have at least a few more people showing up before I start it. Mm, At least 3 minutes. Mm, Put the volume up. Oh, that's so nice. So nice. I love the way this look. Ooh, which color is better? Mm. Oh, ah. Oh, this is so nice. Okay, waiting for this 5 minutes. 12:56 is not time yet. Let's see, I guess. Okay, the 5 minutes is okay. We still have time. So let me see if I not time yet. Where was it? Okay, still waiting. It's not 1 o'clock yet, so. Mhm. Oh, this is beautiful. Yes, you do. Okay. I just want to use this. Yeah. Okay, it's 1 o'clock. Waiting for 5 minutes to see if anybody else gonna join us in the live stream channel. So while I'm waiting, let me see. That is nice. I love. Okay, it's setting up a prayer. So. Shit. Hmm. Think I might go up. Okay, 2 minutes already passed. Looks like, hey, looks like somebody. Is the mic is up. Okay, welcome to my channel. I am Nora, and this lecture is about sleep apnea, and it's the effect of sleep apnea, and sleep apnea, and also the effect. Okay, so I'm a respiratory therapist / sleep technician. I work in a very sleep lab for more than 15 years in New York, and I'm licensed and as a respiratory therapist and licensed in sleep technician. So I have observed various type of patients throughout my experience, um, and it's good to teach others that are out there that does not know their symptom based on sleep apnea. It's a saying that say knowledge is power. So therefore, that the more knowledge you have, the more power you have, then you have control over your life, and to do something about it. So according to American standards, according to research, it mentioned that 50% of patients with obstruction sleep apnea in New York. 50%. So a lot of when you look at in America, there's how many we are how many million or billion people in America or throughout the world, but according to 50% of population experience sleep apnea. They might not know it because some of them is they look at themselves based on height and weight. But according to American standards, don't let just the size of the height and weight fool you, because it could be skinny and still experience sleep apnea, obstructive sleep apnea. The meaning of obstructive sleep apnea is it's constantly breathing repeatedly stop while you're asleep. It's like while you are asleep, throughout your sleep, there's a possibility 50% of your sleep, someone will experience sleep apnea. How but they might not know it. They might not know it, but there's sign. there's sign. You could, if you notice that you snoring, you tend to snore, or some people might not know they snore unless a family member alerting them that they are snoring, and so that's when they know that they snore. But people that does not have family members or people that live by themselves, so they might not know that they experience sleep apnea, but they able to experience tiredness even though after sleeping for 8 hours or 6 to 8 hours. When they wake up, they will feel tiredness. That's a sign that you're having obstructed sleep apnea. Or when you wake up, you're gasping for air, short of breath. That's a sign you're having sleep apnea. Or you wake up You feel like your heart is racing, and then even though you just wake up and sleep, that's a sign of you having obstructed sleep apnea. And another sign also is constantly throughout let's say throughout the night you will go to the bathroom for 6 times throughout the night, or 5 times, 4 times. You go to the bathroom for urinate. That's a sign of you having obstructive sleep apnea. Um, Also, the other sign also you might have this patient that's based on experience and what patient did report. They will wake up with headache. That's another sign of sleep apnea. It's very important you take notice, attention to those signs, because sleep apnea, if it does not get resolved on time, it might lead to death. If you do not treat it, if you don't take pay attention to what's going on in your life, and you don't pay attention to those signs, and you never addressed it to a doctor, or if you address it to a doctor, they ignore you, don't give up. You let it go, so report it to any doctors that might listen to you and that might refer you to a center that would help you. But regarding sleep apnea, sleep obstruction, the doctors that usually um, treat this patient or that deal with this patient are pulmonary doctors that have to do with lungs, um, neurologists, doctors that deal with neurologists, um, that will also, when you explain to them the symptoms, they might quickly pay attention to it. Or cardiologists should know when you report, let's say if you go and get a stress test or an EKG, a cardiologist should know this is a sign of sleep apnea, because when you're having obstructive sleep apnea, it affects the heart. So therefore, the cardiologist doctor should, when you have the stress test done, it should be recorded in the EKG that the doctors perform on you. Some of them might not alert you regarding what they're saying regarding the stress test, because the insurance you have might not cover it. So therefore, that they might not alert you to a specialist. But I believe they should alert you, because even though the insurance might not cover it, there is some doctors out there, neurologists, pulmonologist doctors out there. If your insurance does not pay for it, they could give you a deal where they could do the test for you, where they will charge you less than its cost when it comes to basic out of pocket. And some insurance that will cover half. When the insurance cover half, that means that you would have to come with the other half. So that's why most doctors, when you, let's say you when you go there, they say, okay, what is your purpose? You are there, why you are there. You explain your situation, your symptoms. Um, Regular physician, they will do the basic tests to see, okay, what's going on, based on your blood tests, listen your nipple, nipple, your systemic tests. They will do basic tests based on your information. But the basic test might not tell what exactly that's happening when you're asleep. It might record that, oh yeah, you have low potassium, and low potassium, that's a sign that means that you constantly going urinate at night. So therefore that's still a sign that means that there's something happening. So but the regular physician might not kind of put it together, I would say. But cardiologists should should have kind of what we could call neurologists. They know what it is. Pulmonologists know what it is. So if you go to a regular physician, they couldn't help you much. Go in the internet, do research, and see if you could trying to get in to a neurologist, um, pulmonary doctor. But the sign I tell you right now, the one I tell you regarding the symptoms, that is the symptoms. But most and also the people that experience obstructive sleep apnea is varied from people because this is sleep apnea is based on height and weight. But there's people that are skinny, healthy, look healthy, but they still experience sleep apnea. So therefore, that it's based on certain people. It might be based on height and weight. Others it might not be based on height and weight. It might be their regular activities that I'll give you a few examples of people that it might not be based on height and weight. Smoker, somebody that smokes, the person might be skinny, but might will experience obstructive sleep apnea. Why? Because when the person is smoking and inhaling the smoke, it deteriorates the lung elasticity. So therefore, that when the lung elasticity deteriorate, it's affecting your oxygen and it's affecting you exhaling um, the carbon dioxide completely. So when you smoke, it totally it's totally changed the lung capacity. It's changed the chest form and the lung capacity. So and the person could be looking skinny, healthy, but yes, they experience sleep apnea. There's a sign the person might know that they experience sleep apnea because even though they're skinny, they might experience some snoring because the upper airway, while they're sleeping, is based on position. If they're sleeping on their back, and then they lie down on their back. Once they lie down on their back, the uvula and the tonsil and the tongue fall in the airway. So that will cause blockage, and it will cause when the air is passing through the uvula and the tonsil that is in the airway, it will cause vibration because of the blockage. If the person turns sleep on their side, they might not experience snoring for the first, there's 4 stages of sleep. For the first two stage, they might not experience obstructive sleep apnea. But if once they enter REM, which is the deep sleep stage, they will experience sleep apnea because once you enter in that stage, it doesn't matter if you are on your back or on your side, as long as there is some kind of defect, you will experience sleep obstruction, sleep apnea, decrease in the oxygen. That's for people that are smoking. As I say, obstructive sleep apnea is a constant breathing obstructed, a constant breathing difficulty while you are asleep, and it's constant. So that's the only you will there. I already mentioned the sign that you will experience. The sign I already mentioned it. So therefore, that once you experience the sign, know that you are experiencing obstructive sleep apnea, and you have to pay attention to it and get it resolved to avoid any further damage in your life, or to avoid um, anything that will affect your long, perfect, healthy, long um, um, sustaining life in this world. This is again for the smoking and stuff, and also people that are working in a construction area. They might look healthy, but that doesn't mean skinny healthy. That doesn't mean that they will not experience obstructive sleep apnea. And people that work in a laundry also, because the air they breathe in might be a specific dust. The dust that they breathe in while they're working on construction might be chemical. And people that work in a laundry, they breathe in the dust. The dust end up in the lungs, and then it cause cause situation in the lungs. So those three type of patient will those three condition person might they will look skinny based on height and weight, they will look healthy, but they might experience sleep obstructive sleep apnea. And also somebody that lift up weight, they say, oh, that person is still lift up weight and then everything is fine, look healthy and stuff. That's not that's a deception, because when the person or whoever it is breathe it, turn the fat into muscle. The muscle need oxygen. So how you think the muscle have to get this oxygen? The person have to, when the person is breathing in and out. But if there's an obstruction, the person might not get the complete oxygen it need to circulate throughout the muscle, the organ, the brain, the body. So, as I say, don't let what you're seeing deceive you. Always pay attention to the sign. How do you feel when you wake up after sleeping 6 to 8 hours? Are you feel more tired, like you didn't sleep at all? How do you feel when you wake up? Do you feel like your heart is racing out of your body? How do you feel when you wake up? Do you feel exhausted? It's like, okay, it's like you didn't even sleep. Pay attention to the sign. Then that's how you um, you determine what's going on. And don't let no when you go see a doctor and experience your situation. Don't let one advice kind of turn you away that make you think that everything, oh, you crazy. Because some patient, when they have experienced some patient when they come to the lab, they will tell me a story where they will experience symptoms, symptoms that I mentioned in the site. They experience symptoms. When they go to a doctor, they mention to the doctor the symptoms. They were overlooked, and then the doctor discarded them as, there's nothing wrong with them and stuff. And then until to the point where at the time, I mean, they were working, they have good insurance. But what the thing is, one doctors or two doctors, like discarded, they didn't pursue their to a third doctor or the research. So by the time it become severe, they're at the time at this point they're not working. They don't have a good insurance. They don't have insurance, and then this is when everything collapsed. And then they find out that they were having obstructive sleep apnea for how many years. They mentioned to their doctors, but the doctors didn't pay attention, overlook it, or they probably a reason probably the insurance wasn't willing to cover it, because some insurance, some hospitals, I heard that there's some at hospitals, like there's a meeting with our insurance that if the doctor see certain things, and they shouldn't alert the patient regarding it, because they're not willing to cover it, or there's a deal between the hospitals and doctors regarding what they see and not alert the patient, and then where the patient in the end up in a worse situation. Because why? Because the person does not have a good insurance, and they're not willing to cover it. But the thing is, what I'm saying, you know your body more than you know yourself more than anybody else. Don't let one doctor, one turn you away from what you experience. Continue to pursue it to the next until somebody heal you and refer you to the right doctor. Because since you don't want to need, you pursue the situation. So so those four patients that seems to be healthy based on height and weight, they seem look healthy, and but the look from the outside is deceiving. It's deceiving, but the person himself know that within themselves, that they not they experience something, but the doctor saying telling them something else when they report it to a doctor, so they kind of think that they are out of their mind. Well, it's probably nothing, so they discard it until it's too late. So, and another patient that is tend to be experience sleep apnea is obstructive sleep apnea. It's obesity. Obesity. When the patient is obesity based on height and weight, American standard, when based on height and weight, you're supposed to be, if you're a certain height, you're supposed to be a certain weight. If the patient is obesity, the person will experience sleep apnea. And obstructive sleep apnea for a long time could lead to hypertension. It could lead to type 2 diabetes. It could lead to stroke. This is sign. It could lead to congestive heart failure. So therefore, it is important that we, as a people, as a nation, take care of our health. And obstruction, the obesity Once you go to a, let's say, pulmonary doctor or neurologist doctor, there's tests they perform to see how severe is your sleep, obstructive sleep apnea. There's three there's there's three stages. There's mild, there is mild, there's moderate, there's severe. Severe sleep apnea could be very deadly if it does not fix earlier. The severe sleep apnea could affect the heart rate, your heart muscle. Severe sleep apnea could lead to diabetes, swelling of the legs. That's another sign you will see. Um, your heart has working. You could feel like your heart is racing, or you have heart pain, like chest pain. You have chest pain. It might not be you have a heart attack. It might be that you have that's a sign of obstructive sleep apnea. So hypertension, congestive heart failure, type 2 diabetes, metabolic syndrome. Type metabolic syndrome and diabetes type 2. It's when you say diabetes type 2, it is what based on the determine the meaning is an increase of blood sugar that is released in the circulation that is affecting your circulation. So how do you get an increase of blood sugar? I'll give you an example. When you are asleep, you experience sleep apnea, obstructive sleep apnea. So therefore, it's like when you wake up, you could experience those signs: chest pain, headache, going to the bathroom constantly, um, um, snoring. Um, but during the day when you're doing your daily activities, I mean, you feel tired. But during the day when you feel doing your daily activities, what do you eat? What did the body need in order for it to go on? It need it needs sugar, energy, things that will give you energy. So what we tend to eat, we eat things that are unhealthy. So a lot of people will drink a lot of soda, a lot of starchy things. Because when we're working, guess what? We don't have time to cook a healthy meal. We don't have time to eat a healthy meal. What do? We went and grab something fast food. We grab a fast food and we run with it because that's what we have to go to work. We don't have time to eat healthy, to get something healthy, or to make something healthy. So when you're doing it constantly, what happens is the body eat, take what it needs based on sugar for energy. The rest turn to fat. So therefore, that if you constantly consuming sugar, things that are like starchy, that are starch, thing turn to sugar. Guess what? And that's what happened. That's what led to type 2, the diabetes. Because guess what? It's the consuming of too much sugar, nothing healthy, nothing green. But guess what? It's not our fault because that's what we're working. We have to. We are working. We have to eat, and then what we tend to eat is grab something fast and go. And what tends to give us energy? Something sweet. For energy, when we want to get our energy, we eat something sweet. Things that have to do with sugar. And then what happens is the body takes sugar needed and the rest turn to fat, and then that's affecting our life. So that's so you have to pay attention to this might be not a good thing for us. And when you look at those people that have obesity problem, it's not that they could eat a little. Sometimes they eat small portion, but it's like the small portion they eat. How many times a day they eat that small portion? Um, the it could be a cake there. I say cake. It's sweet and it's starch. Drink soda there, French fries, burgers. But they will say, okay, I want to eat small portion, but small portion, what type of food are you eating? Are they green? Are they all of them starch? So therefore, this is the question you have to ask yourself: how healthy are you eating? That might be this. And also, somebody might experience obstructive sleep apnea. It's people that born with a deformation, um, a lung deformation, or spine deformation. So kyphosis, scoliosis, this patient will experience obstructive sleep apnea because of the deformity in their spine. So this patient first is first patient or people will experience sleep apnea. So I said what the test done, it determined how bad it is. Once you have the test done, you know that you are having sleep obstructive sleep apnea. Then based on insurance, or if you could afford it, the doctor will schedule for treatment. And one thing I will kind of emphasize to anybody that go for that test, never take the cut, the short, the shortcut of treatment. What I mean by that, there's there's various treatment that is out there. There is you could have surgery done. You could have the machine, use the machine. The surgery, let's say if you're obese, the surgery could be to decrease the stomach muscle. This, if you're obese, the surgery could be um, there's another surgery. There's surgery the doctors done where they remove the tonsil. They think the tonsil is a little bit it's too big, affected. It might not be affected. Like when there's a hole in there, it could be it's too big. They remove the tonsil. The uvula. I observed to the point that there's another surgery or test where they shrunk, where they will shrink the tongue and they will inject a fluid to shrink the tongue muscle. If your obstructive sleep apnea is due to because you are obese, it's best to try to lose weight the right way. The right way. I won't like emphasize surgery because surgery is I would say one of the severe heartache, but I would say the right way. Trying to eat healthy, lose weight, use use the machine. There's a CPAP machine you get because once you have sleep apnea, the doctor will give you an option. The first option they will offer you is a CPAP machine. That means that while you sleep, you will you will um, you will use a CPAP machine with a mask to help you sleep. But when you wake up, what is good about it? Because I try it myself, I love it. Once you use the CPAP machine, you wake up, you are well alert. Your oxygen is 98. You feel good. You don't feel exhausted. You feel like you are walking in air. It's like being 100% oxygen, and then you're walking on a cloud. I love it. So, but the machine is not, it's not comfortable because when you're speaking, you're using it for the first time. For me to get used to it, I have I use before I fall asleep with it. I have to allow it in my around my nose and face for 30 to 45 minutes, and after that I fall asleep. As I say, I woke up fully oxygenated. In my head, I was walking in air. I felt good. I felt good. So I have a machine right now, even though I don't need it. I don't really need it. Why do I don't really need it? I have mild sleep apnea. That means that my condition is because I'm snoring. Even though I have my tonsil is removed, but at some point I still have my uvula and my tongue. So at some point at the night I will snore. So I don't. When I had the test done, the doctor say I don't need it. But being around coworkers that was saying how they feel like 18 again and now they use the machine, I say I still need the machine. So I went and get me a machine for me to use. And guess what? It's the best thing I could have done for myself. Fully alert, oxygenated, and feel like I'm walking in a cloud without taking any drugs. So, the reason I'm telling you that, don't try to take the shortcut and have surgery done. Sometimes the surgery does not work. I have come across a lot of patients that choose the shortcut. Oh, you know something? They try the machine because something. What happened is they will try the machine. They say, "Oh, it's too difficult," and then they want to go in the path of having surgery done, and then turn out this condition either worsen the surgery does not work. So therefore, that's the best thing to go about. Get the machine. I mean, eventually you will get used to it, and then once you get used to it, you lose your weight. You lose weight based on height. You look good, even though you don't need it. You will still want to use it. I have come across a lot of patients that. I'll give you one example. There was a patient that I come across that was 300 pounds. Use the machine, lose lose half of it, right to the point that he does not need the machine. But he said, guess what? It he couldn't see himself without the machine. So even though, because at the time when he received the machine, the pressure probably around from 12 to 18, because based on and also to open the airways, there's a certain pressure. So that his pressure, as he loses weight, the pressure gets adjusted to the lowest. The lowest is 4, 5. 4, 5, you manage, you could use the machine 4, 5, just for, slight snoring and stuff, just to keep the airway. But he said, guess what? This is the best thing he could have done. So therefore, that the reason I'm saying that, when you go to the test, when you have this test done, the shortcut never work. Sometimes doesn't work. If it worked, then you because it works so fast, you lose the weight so fast and stuff. There's still something left behind. There's a depression. When you look at yourself, you felt like you're still the same way because guess what? Physically, you might feel good. Mentally, your body, your mind didn't get time to adjust with the weight that was coming down because it all happened so fast. But if you give it time to work, your mind will get caught up, adjusted, and then once you lose the weight, not only you feel good physically as you look at yourself, mentally you feel like you accomplished something and you get to enjoy your life better. So this is my short lesson, um, sleep apnea and the symptoms. And if you like it, the channel, subscribe, click the bell, a thumb up, and then and leave comments. And also leave comments. I will have my email if anybody have any question or is having some situation they are not able to afford um, a test, afford to get paid for the CPAP machine. Just let me know. Maybe I could find out who few doctors centers that might kind of have some machine out there that might that I could directly towards his lab because there's I know there's a few lab I used to work that they do help people on the side that are unable to have the test because the test with insurance costs $3,000. Uh, and there was somebody that come with four of his family, and he paid out of his pocket. Well, like that person have money, but but I know there's people that doesn't have money out there that to afford this. So leave a comment, subscribe, and um, um, and let me know what you want. Give me, leave a note, a comment saying what you want, what is your condition, what is your problem, and how I could help you in your situation. So, so until next time, take care of your health, your life, and peace, and Most High, the living God, and until we see again. Don't forget to subscribe.